Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a whole new episode of Full Steam Ahead. I'm your host, Zoe, with my co-host on the other side, Cantu. How was your weekend, man? I know it was your first Father's Day. I know it was
Mhm.
pretty special for you. Give me all the mood. How was it?
Oh yeah, so we started off actually Father's Day kind of early. My wife was excited to give me as a gift, so she gave it to me a little early, which is greatly appreciated. So I appreciate that. But it was great. First Father's Days in the books. I enjoyed it. Played some baseball. Spent time with my son and wife. Had some good food. It was pretty good overall.
So what was that gift? I thought it was a little hint of. I know I've asked you earlier. Was it that dirty diaper or what?
No, it was sorry. Yeah, you did ask, and I forgot to respond to that. It was like like that blue Adidas shirt I wore on Friday, the baby blue one. Uh, a, a, like a little organizer to put your watches, rings, and all that stuff because I'm always losing everything. And then a card. It was pretty nice. Yeah.
That is actually true. I can testify to that. Everybody, even the blue shirt too. We were walking to Minute Maid, and next thing you know, I see a little black mark on his shirt. He said it was brand new. So
Oh
hopefully
yeah.
it's not no oil stain, nothing like that, because you were fixing your tire at that point.
Yeah. It's a tough times, but right now, dude, I woke up like feeling like an old man too. Pitched for the first time in probably like a year after high school, and man, I don't know
You
how
don't
I
got
did
the
it.
juice?
I don't got the juice anymore. I threw I think 4 or 5 innings. I forgot that last inning. No matter how hard I threw, no strength coming out of the ball. No velocity. I was done.
Oh, what do you think you topped out at?
Oof. Probably early on, I'd say probably
You-
75. I would
I was
say.
about to say, if you give me that 90 bullshit, dude, I'm gonna laugh at
Nah,
you.
probably 75. By my last pitch, 70. By my last pitch, probably like 65.
65, 70 poo, mid 60s to low 70s, I guess you could say.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure.
But that's good. Did y'all even end up getting the dub on Father's Day?
We lost 2-1. 2-1. It was a good game though.
Yeah, you pitched the gym though.
I know. Actually, one and run. The other one I came in on an error, but yeah.
Where's the offense, man? You gotta be a two-way player like this kid from Florida, like
I
Jack
know.
Callahan.
Yeah. Callahan? Is this his name?
No, no,
Callejon. There you go.
Yeah, something like that. You know what
There
I
you go.
mean.
There you go. It's a
But
long name. Yeah.
it is a long name. But they did survive. They will be playing the winner. Well, actually, the loser of A&M and Kentucky, which just started right now, as our alma mater is playing against the Wildcats in the SEC matchup. But episode 188, Astros overpowered their Tigers. I mean, this game. I mean, there's a lot to talk about here because there a lot of things just happened this in the 3-day weekend against the Detroit Tigers. Shocking.
Yeah.
But the Astros did end up getting the series win against the Tigers once again, like they did over there in the Motor City. Came back to H Town, did the same thing. But a lot to talk about. We have a whole objectives of what we got going on. Recap that Tiger series, like we said. Justin Verlander's missing his start as well, which we'll give some information on that. Jose Abreu being released from the Astros roster. Who's invited to the Carne Asada pitching preview against the White Sox. News from the train station and around the horn. My gosh, I mean, I tell you, dude, we got a full plate on our hands. Real quick, get everybody going. Where they can follow us, how they can subscribe to our channel, and let them know.
Yeah. So Spotify and Apple Podcasts, you know where to find us there. I feel like we've been getting some good uh a good group when it's a live broadcast, but even after we've been getting some good audience there after that. But you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Threads, TikTok, especially TikTok. I know we're still growing that one, but some great work out there with the reels and with the TikTok videos. So that's where you can follow us. But yeah, the Astros run up their record with 33-39, 2-1 in the home stand. Like Lorenzo said, they won the series. But let's start with some Jose Abreu news. I know this was the talk of the town, and honestly, I was a little shocked that it happened this early, but Jose Abreu was released on Friday uh, from the Houston Astros ball club. I mean, before we talk about the whole situation, like, how was your reaction to that? Like again, I know I was shocked it happened a little early to me, but go ahead.
I mean, I was kind of like shocked, but not shocked at all because I
Mhm.
told you it was going to be coming soon if that's the case. And
Yeah,
that series against the Giants was we both had talked about the Singleton playing time with the Abreu playing time, and that Abreu needed to kind of step up at this next series. If not, then there's a strong possibility that he's not going to be wearing an Astros uniform. And The Astros went ahead and pulled the plug on him. Great MLB career, I will say that about him. Genuine man as well, but at the end of the day, it is a business, and the Astros have to do what's best for the team at this point.
Yeah, very hardworking. So by all means, uh, I know some people have been like tweeting and they saying that
Yeah,
Jose Abreu just
there's been
came.
a lot of that, man, and it sucks to see that because they don't know the person that he is. Like we
Yeah,
were talking, like we've seen him in the clubhouse, we've talked to him, a very nice, humble man. Like Angel had said, has a great work ethic as well. Even when we even get to the ballpark, he's on the field working either defensively or in the cage as well. But just stepping away from baseball wise, I mean, one of the nicest human beings you're ever going to meet and interview as well.
yeah. It's unfortunate because it wasn't a talent thing. It wasn't like again like a work ethic thing. I think it's just his body just giving out on him, and unfortunately, it happens in the sport. You can't play this sport forever, but it's just that downfall that just he couldn't avoid. But Dana Brown and Joe Espada had talked about the situation. I know they said the past few weeks, but I'm sure it was a talk throughout the entire season. They were just trying to give him the chance because he's a respectable guy. They were not just going to cut him loose. They gave him every single chance. Dana Brown was actually the one who led the charge, the decision to release Jose Abreu. I mean, he's a general manager. His job is to win baseball games, and that's his, ultimately it's his call. And this is what Dana Brown had to say. We've been talking about it for the last week or so. Ultimately, Abreu is an outstanding human. He's had an astounding career. We tried different things to get him going, like sending him down. As we talked about the process this week, we felt it was time to make a change. And he's right. I mean, they gave him the reps, they gave him the time off, they gave him, so go to Florida, work on your swing, work on your timing. And initially, like maybe one or two instances, he did show that, growth, that bat speed. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's a business. You need results. It's a struggling ball club. I feel like if the record was in a different direction, say the Astros had the Phillies record, like 40 wins, low 19 losses, I don't think he gets released. I think that they have enough time to help him get back to it.
Mhm.
But the situation, the record, the hole they put him in, they need results and they need him now, right? So
Mhm.
it's just what happened. And Brown on Abreu, the way he took it, that he was critical as to how he was playing himself. He understood what his struggles were. He struggled a lot and was trying to battle through it. It was a difficult thing for him, but though he handled it well. But thought he handled it well. I mean, again, a professional. If I felt to me, he knew his struggles because he allowed himself to be demoted, right? Go to Florida, go to AAA, and then work your way back. So he understand it. Again, work ethic outstanding. He was trying to get back, but ultimately it just didn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, you said it yourself right there. Professional was one of the words that you used, and that is a true professional. Because thinking about it, if he was in the same situation as another player, or another player was in his situation, I meant to say, a veteran, won MVPs, Rookie of the Year, a three-time All-Star as well. You think they're going to be like, okay, you're going to demote me? You know what? At this point, I might as well just be released because I don't think there's another person that would want to be demoted and take that responsibility of trying to get back into the groove of things instead of doing, being at the major league level that they're supposed to be, especially that contract that Abreu had signed.
Yeah.
So for Abreu, I mean, like he said in the quotes, like you had mentioned out too. I mean, he did everything that he could, but he was struggling, and one of the factors could be his age. I mean,
Yeah.
Paul Goldschmidt, look where he was doing in the beginning of the season. He was not hitting the ball well. Right now, he's starting to hit the ball well for the Cards, but age does hit you at a different level. You're not back at that rookie year form. You're not at the 20-year prime that you were at. Now you're in your late 30s, early, getting to that 40 range, and your body's not going to react to the same. It's just not the same how it used to be as a younger athlete that he was.
Yeah, like I think Albert Pujols is a prime example of that
Mhm.
as well. Like again, beast at the plate, familiar with the Astros, launching balls over the train tracks, and then at the end of his career, just was falling over too, falling down, and it's just again, it's part of the game. But morale around the clubhouse, we were able to talk to Mauricio Dubon. He said it sucks when you lose it. Basically, to sum up, he said it sucks to lose a brother. So he did reach out to him on a text, and he kind of like was reminiscent about all the tips he gave him while he played first base as well. So again, this is like this clubhouse. I'm not gonna go too deep in it, right? But just know it's a family, So seeing Jose Abreu leave did have an impact on these players, and so did on manager Joe Espada, who said that they were really hoping that Jose Abreu turned it around, so they don't have to make this decision. But again, ultimately, it just did not work out.
Yeah, he even said it himself. And when it was before game time, he said it was a very tough day. It was a very tough way to tell Brady the news. Like that is one of the hardest things when doing it as a manager, and that's what you have to do as your job. You got to tell people like, "Hey, I'm sorry, we got to let go respectfully. Thank you for your time here and there." And for Joe being a first year manager, especially the way the season has gone for him as a first year coach, it's just been difficult all around. This Astros,
Yeah,
2024 team has been a difficult spot due to injuries, due to pitching situations, hitting situations as well. It just hasn't gone as planned like the Astros have gone through the years. You got to think about it. These guys have been going to the postseason every October. They're playing in 7 straight ALCSs. So, best believe it's going to have some fatigue in them. It's going to have some days like they're just dragging, but they're going to give it all they got. And for, going back to Joe Espada and that particular moment telling Brady the news, it was unfortunate for him. It was a very tough day as he can describe it.
yeah. I feel like some first years managers have like a smooth sailing going in, like everything's working out. But I feel like Joe Espada has been throwing the kitchen sink at him, with like you said, injuries, having to release a player, struggling back up when his expectations were high. It's just kind of like, and he's been through a lot, which could be, it could be a kind of like a little blessing in disguise. Like you're experiencing this in your first year as manager, and you grow from it. Next year, come out better and stronger. Because again, I've been seeing some news, like again, just some, I guess you would call fans saying, "Oh, Joe Spiley needs to be changed." Like, no, he's like he's doing a great job. And he's got, he's working with his job, like with what he's got. I'm sure he's gonna be back next year, even better, doing a better, stronger job.
Yeah, and then like to go with that real quick. I mean, the beginning of the season, you're telling me these, like you were saying with the air quote fans, would not put, in the same situation as Joe Espada. You're telling me that they wouldn't go Abreu, they wouldn't go Presley, and then they wouldn't go Hater. It just didn't turn out the way that everything was supposed to be started for the Astros in this season. Nobody had thought that the back end of the bullpen was going to struggle in the early part of the season. Nobody had seen the injuries just continue to pile on. No one had seen the 2 Tommy John surgeries the Astros are going to have with Christian Javier and Jose Urquidy.
Yeah.
So it's been very unfortunate for Joe Espada in his first year as a manager. But hey, I mean, shoot, they're 9 games back of the division. They're still fighting for that playoff spot. I think they're 7 from the wild card. So there's still some time to get back into that postseason rep that they're always in.
Absolutely. But give us that recap, though.
Yeah, for sure. And Josh was on. Hey guys, he said he's sad to see Abreu gone, but it was time to move on. But still, yeah. I mean, we're like I said, we're wishing Jose Abreu nothing but the best. Hopefully, I wanted to ask you that too, real quick. Do you see him getting signed by another team? You think another team will pick him up?
Could be. I feel like, especially like a young club could probably use some of that leadership presence. Maybe look at the White Sox. I mean, that's where he started off his career. Yeah, but I could see like maybe a struggling club, Miami. I know he has family over there. I wouldn't be surprised there. So just a young struggling club missing some leadership presence. Jose Abreu would be your guy.
Yep, and he will be getting paid for this season and next season as well. So
Sure.
do not forget about that. Let's get with that recap of the Tiger series because Angel, I was completely shocked. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was completely shocked that the Astros offense came alive against one of the favorites to win the American League Cy Young this Friday. I just did not see it happening, but the Astros did get to Tarik Skubal. Before the 6th inning, because the 6 innings where the magic happened for the Astros offense, Skubal only allowed one hit by pitch, and one walk. Two of those guys that got on base was Jose Altuve. He had the leadoff double in the beginning of the game. He did get walked, and Jerry Pena did get hit by a pitch before the sixth inning. But like I said, the sixth inning is where the magic happened for the Astros. Jose Altuve once again hit another leadoff double. Alex Bregman showing the wheels, my man. RBI triple to the right center to the Astros bullpen. Altuve scores from second. Then Yordan Alvarez comes on, hits RBI sac fly. Jerry Pena does get out. Yiner Diaz follows up with the single to the right side. And then Mauricio Dubon, in his first game as the Astros starting first baseman, he hits a home run to the Landry's Crawford boxes and left.
Hey, take advantage as you can. Speaking of something we forgot to mention about the Jose Abreu thing, and I'm glad about the Mauricio Dubon part is John Singleton will probably get the most reps at first base, but when there's a lefty on the mound, just like Skubal was, Mauricio Dubon will get those opportunities, and you know he played really great. He played really great. So stay tuned for more news on him. But yeah, he played really great. Take advantage of that, the opportunity he gets.
Yeah, Mauricio, like Angel said, they're going to platoon a little bit more at first base. When the lefties come along, like Angel had said too, Dubon's going to probably be the guy to be starting at first and hitting for Singleton. But keep your eyes out on Joe Luperfido and Trey Cabbage as well. They could be getting some playing time at first base. But like Angel said, we'll have more information on that whenever we can get it. And that was the only, 4 runs that the Astros needed to win that game. I mean, Hunter Brown, you can't get enough of the starting pitching from this rotation, what they've been doing for these past couple series. And Giant against the San Francisco Giants, they did excellent. Against the Anaheim Angels, they did the same thing. Just continues to move along. It's just been like 2 starting pitchers out of the 3 games that they play just have success on the mound. And Hunter Brown just continues to do what he's been doing. And for me, because I was one of the guys that said to put him in the bullpen, continues to prove me wrong. Like I said, I will say that every time he pitches a great start. But 7 innings, 5 hits, no earned runs, no walks, 9 strikeouts. That is a quality start in the book. 96 pitches, 67 were strikes, which is really phenomenal in that aspect. Still undefeated against his hometown team, moving a 3-0 record against the Detroit Tigers. But 5 straight quality starts, Angel. Since May 1st, Brown has gone 3-1 with a 2.58 ERA with 52 strikeouts, a 104 whip, and a 194 opponent batting average in 8 games and 7 starts.
Yeah, shout out to Hunter Brown for standing his ground against the best pitcher in baseball. This was the game where, honestly, the odds were not in the Astros' favor, especially with their how poorly their offense has been at times, and especially going against a guy like Tarik Skubal, you think, oh man, this should be a repeat. Like, make sure you win the next 2 because with this guy, you might not get the win. But hey, shout out to them for adjusting at the plate, and again, shout out to Hunter Brown for proving his worth there. A great outing.
Yeah, Skubal, like I said, I mean, the guy could finish this year in the top 3, or he can even win this award because he's been really pitching well for the Tigers. Him and Jack Flaherty, especially.
Yeah, Jack Flaherty's been potential comeback player of the year there too, because it's been pitching good.
Yeah, and you saw how game 2 ended up for the Astros. We'll talk about Justin Verlander here in a minute, but he was scratched out, and Spencer Arrighetti had to move. I don't know if it was because he had to realize that he was pitching today instead of the next day, or he was just missing location. I want to say that it was just locations of his pitches. But yeah, Spencer Arrighetti did get tackled on pretty early. I think they had like a 10-0 lead in the 3rd inning, I want to say, or the 11th. So
yeah, I mean, it wasn't pretty, but again, it could have been like he wasn't ready to pitch. He like there's some pitchers that go through a whole routine before they start pitching, and sometimes expediting that routine or not even doing that at all could really change the game plan, that mindset for a pitcher. And I mean, that could have just played a factor there.
Yeah. So game 2 does go to the Tigers, but game 3, I mean, I'm running out of words to describe Ronel Blanco.
Immaculate, mesmerizing, amazing.
I mean,
you gotta open up that old English dictionary for that one.
Pretty much. We're going to have to go back to the 1960s at this point because Ronel Blanco is just pitching fabulous. He's been pitching out of another planet right now for the Astros. This guy, like we've been talking about, he's been really the true ace of this starting rotation this year. 7 innings, no hits, no earned runs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. He did go through a no-hitter to the 7th inning. He did throw 94 pitches, 65 of them were strikes. So you saw the pitch count rise up at that point. But after that, sixth in the American League in ERA with a 2.43, and then second in the American League, an opponent batting average with 1.64. The guy in front of him that has a low opponent batting average is
Luis
Luis.
Gil.
Yes, this guy has been another one of those He's been pitching like Garrett Cole for the Yankees right now.
Yeah.
And Garrett Cole's not even pitching.
Yeah.
That's the crazy part.
The crazy thing is Ronel Blanco's pitching like Framber Valdez for the Astros, and Framber Valdez has been kind of spotty this year too.
I have a question for you since we're on the Ronel Blanco topic. 94 pitches, goes through the 7th inning. Are you allowing him to go to the 8th inning until? No, you're just saying, okay, 7. We're going with the combined no hitter.
It was the right call. Pitch count again. It's not even halfway through the season. We already kind of preached how this is uncharted territory for Ronel Blanco. He hasn't pitched more than 50 innings from last year. He's already surpassed that. And again, this is a marathon. You don't want to hurt a player, now early on for him not to pitch the long run. So I think it was a good call for Joe Espada. Yes, it sucks. I know it's a no hitter. I know. But it seems like the Astros are like the king of combined no hitters because they're not afraid to hand it over to pass the baton over to the next pitcher. So I mean, to me, it was the right call.
I agree. Yeah, you're saying the king of no hitters and combined no hitters. The Astros do lead Major League Baseball with 17 no hitters. I want to say from 1962. I know they lead the no hitter streak for sure.
Yeah.
So. Nothing you can say about Ronel Blanco. The Astros did win Game 3 with Jose Altuve's 3-run homer to the Crawford boxes. That is that dad power coming into play. But overall, I mean, this was the only homestand that the Astros had. They do travel to Chicago of the South Side to face Martin Maldonado, which that's going to be an interesting series. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting series, I would say, what the Astros do. We'll have that preview here in a minute. But overall, in this homestand against the Tigers, they did a really great job.
Speaking of Martin Maldonado, I think this is what you were going at. You think, he's the one that knows these hitters well.
Mm-hmm.
You think I wouldn't be surprised if the Astros lose maybe 1 or 2 in this series just because of that. Yeah. Just because Martin Maldonado knows tendencies, likes and dislikes of these hitters. I mean, they're gonna have to adjust big time, but or even think of the mind of the pitching coaches too, kind of like how they attack. Like, probably looking, all right, they're gonna attack this hitter here, stuff like that. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah, that's the kind of series, this is the White Sox are the worst team in Major League Baseball right now, but they got Martin Maldonado who knows all the Astros hitters at this point. And not just that, they got another guy over there that could be potentially going for a Cy Young in Garrett Crouchet. So we'll have that preview here in a minute. Just wait up, but let's get over with real quick with the Justin Verlander missing that start. JV was supposed to make his scheduled start on Saturday, but he was scratched with neck discomfort. We've heard that one before.
Yeah, Christian Javier.
Yep, Christian Javier also had neck discomfort earlier in this year. Verlander is day-to-day still. According to Brian McTaggart, manager Joe Espada said on Sunday that Verlander could return as soon as this week's upcoming series against the White Sox in Chicago. Espada added that Verlander pitching in Chicago is a, quote, strong possibility, end quote, depending on Chicago's pitching lineup. This is a quote from Espada. He said he's feeling better. Joe Espada said on Saturday, he's in the weight room. I feel like every day he's doing a little bit more work. The soreness is kind of going away, but not totally, which is much better. Seeing Garrett Crouchet pitching in one of these games, I will not be surprised that Justin Verlander does pitch either Wednesday or Thursdays. Oh, well, Thursday's matchup because they already had set up the rotation.
I'm sorry, what was your question?
No. I was saying I wouldn't be surprised that Justin Verlander does pitch on Thursday just for the fact that Garrett Crouchet is pitching Wednesday, which is one of the best starting pitchers in the American League too.
Yeah, pitching duel there. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Yeah, so Framber Valdez goes Tuesday. Wednesday is Hunter Brown, and Thursday it's to be announced. There's a possibility, like we said, and it could be Justin Verlander, but we'll have to see about that. But I do have a question, Angel, because now you see a missing star from Justin Verlander. The release of Jose Abreu. There's 2 holes that the Astros kind of need to fill if they're going to want to continue contending in the postseason. It's starting pitching at this point, and it is at that first base spot. What's your take of the trade deadline? We've already heard Dana Brown continue to say that they're going to be buyers, buyers, buyers. What do you see happening? Because I did hear we were at the press conference too, and they said maybe going after two starting pitchers. Give me your thoughts.
It's honestly, and I've been kind of saying this, the Astros are in a tricky situation. Yes, they're going to be buyers; they're not going to be sellers. Dana Brown even said that he's never been part of a club that ended a good club that's ended up being sellers, and this is a good team, so they're not going to be selling. But it's just a part of what they have to offer to these teams. You saw how the past two trade deadlines have gone, and it's like a bidding war of, all right, he's offering you this, I'm gonna give you this more and stuff like that, right? And I think if it becomes a bidding war, that's disadvantage Astros, because Anna Brown even said, ultimately, we do not want to give a bunch of prospects away for rentals, right? So they don't want to empty out these farm systems. So you might be looking at maybe a major league talent leaving the club, to bring that kind of make their offer a little bit more enticing for clubs. But I see it two ways, honestly. Yes, they could probably get a starting pitcher. The price is right. You're probably not gonna get the big names, just because they're gonna be like the bidding war's gonna be to the top. Maybe looking for like a low end guy with a bunch of upside, or like a guy that's struggling, but the Astros feel they can turn his season around. Um, and maybe looking at a major league talent gone. But I also wouldn't be surprised if they just hold their ground and don't do anything. Just wait for a healthy Luis Garcia, wait for something else. So that's the way I see it. If they do end up getting two starting pitchers in a bat, because Denver Brown also said they're looking for another offensive bat as well. If the price is right, low end prospect, or someone they can turn the season around, I'm sure they'll pull the trigger. But if they don't see an enticing product, or if they see themselves having to, touch that farm system, I don't see it happening.
So I disagree on your second point.
Okay.
Just for the fact, Spencer Arrighetti, rookie. Hunter Brown is showing right now that he is capable of continuing to pitch at a high level. Framber Valdez, you've seen Framber Valdez kind of go up and down, up and down. Justin Verlander's kind of in the same situation. And you do not know if Ronel Blanco is going to continue this in the second half of the season. So what I'm thinking, you're pulling all your chips in at this point. You're trying to continue this run of the Astros golden era of baseball. You're doing it at this point. You're just putting all your chips in. You got guys in the farm right now like Pedro Leon, who I'm honestly thinking he could be ready for to be on an MLB team and help somebody win. I see him as a trade chip. Shea Whitcomb right now too, the way he's been hitting in AAA, he's another trade chip. One of the outfielders in this Astros outfielding depth that they have, Chas McCormick, Jake Myers, I think it's either going to be one of those two on the market to send in a package. So that's the only thing on that. And then also to add to your point, you forgot to mention Dana Brown also is looking for guys that have team control at least for another year. He's not like you were saying, he's not looking for rentals. And if that's the case, he's not going to throw the prospects like you were saying.
Yeah.
So if he's going to this trade deadline, he's looking for a guy with maybe a year or 2 more years of team control that he's going to allow to attack on.
And as you were talking about this, it kind of got me thinking about the releasing of Belak and Corey Jokes. It kind of, now you're looking at maybe a side effect of that. Those two players could have been easily trade pieces. You saw what Corey Jokes doing with the White Sox. I'm sure, I'm not saying they're going to get Luis Robert, right? But I'm sure if they were talking about, like Gary Crouchet said, starting pitching, well, at that time, prior to releasing Corey Jokes, they would what they could have offered. Hey, we got Corey Jokes, we have this guy here. But now that they released them, we saw White Sox first team pick up Corey Jokes. They're probably like their first name on the waiver wire, licking their chops trying to get him, right? So again, I think those two were a big loss for trade pieces. But I mean, I agree with you there. I mean, one of the major league outfielders is going to be gone. If you would have told me last year, I would have probably told you Jake Myers is going to be gone. But this year's probably, like, it looks like Chas McCormick's maybe the odd man out on that one. It sucks. I mean, they're both good players. Both had a good impact, but someone's getting moved. And just with the recent struggles of Chas McCormick, kind of bring that out. But including him with AJ Blueball, Pedro Leon, like you said, Jacob Melton, I think that could be an option.
Yeah, AJ Bloss is another one that the Astros are targeting on. Dana Brown said himself on Sports Talk 790 that he's not afraid to bring him up. He is not afraid to do that. But like you were saying, they're probably looking at a low end starter at this point. I don't think they're going to go get the big names. This situation that the Astros are in right now reminds me of the 2021 Atlanta Braves because they were at this point too that they weren't winning a lot of games. I think I want to say they were maybe a little bit above 500, and they went to go get small pieces. They went to go get Jorge Soler. They went to go get Jog Peterson. Just small players that can impact in a big way. And that's the only way I can see the Astros. You've seen the names out there of Vladimir Guerrero Jr. being that could possibly be on the trade
Pete
deadline.
Alonso.
Pete Alonso as well. Like Angel said, I doubt they go after Luis Robert Jr. I doubt they'll go after Garrett Crochet, because at this point you just need starting pitchers that are going to help you. Jordan Montgomery was a good example for the Rangers last year that helped them a lot in that starting rotation. Um, but it's going to look different for next year. I'm really interested to see when this trade deadline gets closer, which I'm pretty sure it's about, we're like what, maybe a month and a half?
Yeah,
A
July
month and a half.
31st.
Yeah, a month and a half away from the trade deadline. We'll have that two-part special like always. But where the Astros emphasis on, if I had to say today, it's going to be more on the starting pitching side than the first base, because Dana Brown did also mention that John Singleton is going to get majority of the load, and he's just hoping at this point to see what he brings to the table.
And then before he mentioned about getting an offensive piece, because he said, like I said, two starting pitchers and an offensive piece. They said if John Singleton can really take advantage of that position and hit for power, hit for on base, they don't have to get another offensive piece. Like they'll trust John Singleton in that aspect and then just focus on pitching. But pitching is a top priority for the Astros. But again, the price has to be right for them.
Yep, we got a little bit of comments here. We need more starting pitching and a first baseman for sure. There's a guy. Oh,
Rodini.
Rodini. What's going on, man? We haven't had him. So interesting to see that. I don't think Leon should be traded. They signed him for the most money ever paid to an international bonus pool player, and he has a lot of potential. He does have a lot of potential, but the thing is, there's a lot of infield depth that the Astros have. I don't see Leon being a starting third baseman next year if Alex Bregman does decide to walk and test free agency. You still got Greg Kessinger. Possibility you could look at Mauricio Dubon. Then after that too, you got to look at what the Astros are going to do at first base. I don't know if they're going to turn Joey Luperfido into a everyday first baseman now, or they're going to go out in the baseball winter meetings next year and maybe possibly look at something, because I don't know what the free agency class for first base looks like next year. If you remember last year, this recent year, I mean, it wasn't a lot, or 2 years ago, it was Anthony Rizzo, Brandon Belt, Jose Abreu, and can't think of the other guy, but it was 3 of those guys, which are all veterans.
Yeah, something's going to happen. It'll be interesting to wait and see. But do you have anything else before we move on to the Carne Asada?
Let's go.
Let's roll it up. So instead of, I'm going to change it up here, not the Carne Asada, but Carne Asada doesn't always mean, it's in the name, right? But some people have like little get-togethers without having meat. We're going to be bringing some arepas today because it'll be Jose Altuve is going to be cooking up the food today. 4 for 9, 1 home run, 3 RBIs, 3 runs, and 1 stolen base. Have you ever had arepas?
I have not. It sounds yummy though. I'm not gonna lie to you.
So I haven't either, but I was looking at them, they're kind of like gorditas. If you're like kind of like a mixture of gorditas and pupusas a little bit. So kind of similar to that. And I don't know, those always go bomb. Always calientes nearby our house.
Shout out.
Yeah, I'm gonna go reach out for sponsorships and we mention their name real quick. But I don't think you need tortillas for arepas. So I'm gonna be bringing some sides. Ronel Blanco's be bringing the rice. 7 innings pitched, 0 hits, 0 earned runs, 3 walks, 8 strikeouts. Continuing to tread, continue to throw gas. That arm looks fresh, even though he's pitched over innings. And as of right now, I know he had those 2 little hiccups there, but you're looking at Ronel Blanco, the first-time All-Star, the way it's going so far. So that's, I think that's well earned there. A little side of beans to be brought to you by Hunter Brown. 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 0 earned runs, 0 walks, 9 strikeouts. He looks kind of like a black bean kind of guy. So they're going to be having some black beans with that Asada, and then Mauricio Dubon with the Sansa. I know he was 3 for 10, 2 runs, 1 home run, 2 RBIs. He's batting 301, just like John Singleton has been doing, taking advantage of the opportunity he gets. I told you he was coming up because he's going to be enjoying these arepas that his fellow teammate Jose Altuve will be bringing to the party.
Man, I actually, dude, that shit sounds good right now. I am not
I
gonna
mean,
lie to you.
with some little queso fresco. I don't know if you're a fan of queso fresco, though.
A little
Yeah,
bit of crema too on it.
absolutely.
Coca mexicana. Oh man, we might
And
have to do our own.
I actually went to Aguas Calientes like, this week, and I got that little bottled apple soda for
Mhm.
the $1.29.
The Jaritos.
It wasn't Jalisco's. It was a different brand, Ciudad or something like that. But it was good.
Might have to try it. I might have to try it. Hey, do you know somebody is doing a hat, an Astro hat,
Is it taqueria?
dedicated to Taqueria del Sol?
I saw that. I saw
It's
that.
pretty
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
I ain't
It
gonna lie.
looks so cool. Yeah, yeah.
That's more. That's near our house too, as well.
We'll repost it on Twitter so the Astros people can know.
Definitely.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, the Astros are traveling to the South Side for this is a weird schedule, man.
yeah.
You're going from San Francisco, which I understand they're on the West Coast already for playing against the Angels and then the Giants. They come back home to play one series. They got to go, travel again to go play in Chicago, and then they got to come back to play Baltimore.
Yikes.
It's
That's
just,
weird. Yeah.
it's weird. It's very weird. And then they're gonna have to travel on Thursday to play Friday for that weekend series against the Orioles. But let's get
Are
with
they?
this.
Let's see.
Yeah, yeah. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Oh man. Okay.
But let's get with that pitching preview of the Chicago White Sox. Like I said, the South Side, it's just been a bad year for them. 19-54. That is the worst record in the American League as well as in Major League Baseball. 4-6 on their last 10 games. You already know they're last in the American League Central. And who's going to start it strong for the Astros on Tuesday at 7:10? It's going to be Framber Valdez for the Astros on the mound, 5-4 record with a 3.99 ERA. He'll be going against Jonathan Cannon with a 0-1 record, 4.56 ERA. And Framber Valdez, his last start against the Giants, it was not the best start that he wanted to go through. 4 innings, 8 hits, 5 earned runs, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. He did throw 59 strikes, which is a season low, and I want to say it's a career low as well.
Yeah.
But we talked about on the 2 episodes ago that he just left his sinker up in the middle of the zone. The Giants hitters were not taking any pitches. They were on full attack mode, getting a lot of solid contact off of him, wasn't getting a lot of ground ball percentage. So there's a great opportunity to have a bounce back game against the Chicago White Sox. On the other side, Martin Maldonado knows him more than anybody. So maybe they're going to try to get under his skin. But Framber Valdez going against a team that's not strong. The only player I would have to say that's been hitting pretty well for them is Luis Robert Jr. So look alive in this matchup for him. Jonathan Cannon, on the other hand, last start against the Seattle Mariners, 7 innings, 4 hits, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts. He is a rookie this year. He did make his debut early April for the White Sox, coming out from Georgia Bulldogs over there in the SEC. 5-pitch arsenal. Yep, SEC. Sinker, sweeper, cutter, changeup, four-seamer is what you're going to see from this guy from his 5-pitch arsenal mix. The majority of the ones he's going to throw is going to be his sinker. 250 opponent batting average, but if you take that away, the expected batting average for him is a 305. This is the interesting part for me. And the next pitch that he throws is a changeup. He throws the changeup only 49 times this season. Angel, do you want to give me how many times on the splits on righties and lefties? Give me that ratio.
Maybe hit 50-50, huh?
Not even close to 50-50, dude. He throws it only to left-handed hitters. 49 pitches to left-handed hitters, 0 for right-handed hitters. So more than likely you're going to see a changeup in John Singleton at bat, Yordan Alvarez at bat, Kyle Tucker, which he's still not on the team, but possibly Trey Cabbage. He could be getting some playing time as well. Lefties do have a lot of success against that changeups. That's why. And it's weird because it's a 450 opponent batting average, and the lefties are just hitting off of it like nothing. But is what it is. That's what the stats are on the StatCast. Wednesday, 7 cents. Go ahead.
I was going to say that's the pitcher they need to take advantage of. I know you better get the preview real quick, but after that, that's the guy that didn't take advantage. I'll let you do your preview, but that's the guy that didn't take advantage.
Yeah, rookies Astros usually do pretty good against them guys. And this is, like you're saying, a great opportunity to get off and especially get that first win out of the way in the series because it's not going to be easy on Wednesday's matchup. 7:10 start time. Hunter Brown 3-5 with a 5 ERA, which he's been pitching phenomenal for the Astros. He'll be going against a guy that's been pitching really well for the Chicago White Sox with that record, especially, dude. Garrett Crochet, 6-5 record with a 3.16 ERA. Hunter Brown, we already talked about his stat line. I'm not going to go into that, but we'll talk about Garrett Crochet real quick because he could be looking at an all-star bid this year. The Tennessee Volunteer product, last start against the Seattle Mariners, 7 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, 13 strikeouts, leads the American League in whip with a 0.90 and strikeouts with 116. Third, the American League in opponent batting average with a 182. Has allowed a run in each of his last 3 starts, just one in his last 3 starts. So that's pretty good. 3 earned runs in 3 starts. Back-to-back starts with double-digit strikeouts. He does lead the American League in strikeouts with 116. And the last 2 starts that he's had, he posted double-digit with 13 and 11.
Wow.
So he's even though he's a lefty, the Astros lineup is really dominant right-handed, but a guy like this that has that electric stuff, it's still going to be a difficult matchup for this Astros lineup.
He actually started as a closer, I believe, or like his rookie years. He was a closer or a bullpen guy, like a
Was
late
he
inning.
really? I know.
Yeah.
I remember him being a bullpen. I thought Michael Kopech was that guy.
Yeah.
Closer.
I think Michael Kopech was the opposite. I think Michael Kopech started as a starter, went to
Yeah,
the
I know that.
yeah. I don't know, but I think he was like a late inning bullpen guy. Could have been like 8th inning. Like.
Yeah, he just started the bullpen, and then like everybody's been seeing this trend of relievers coming into being starters, and it's really worked out for Major League Baseball, I would say.
Yeah, like especially like those college guys. I think just because they're experienced both. Like for example, Chris Cortez from A&M started as a starter, bullpen guy, electric from the bullpen. So I think just had that experience there.
Yeah, I guess that familiarity too, as well, and just feeling comfortable. What's your best bet? So apparently the starting role, and he's probably going to be one of those guys at the trade deadline that a lot of teams are going to be bidding for damn sure.
Absolutely.
But the series finale, 1:10 start time. The Astros have yet to announce a starter. It could be possibly Justin Verlander. We'll keep you informed if that does happen. But the White Sox did announce their guy, and it's Chris Flexen, 2.6 record with a 5.35 ERA. And Flexen, his last started against the Diamondbacks, very, very horrific for him. 3 1/3, 9 hits, 4 earned runs, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts. I will say this for Flexen, the Astros have seen him a lot of the times being with the Seattle Mariners through those years in 2020, 21, 22. But however, Flexen hasn't pitched against the Astros since 2022. Career versus Houston, 1.6 record, 4.71 ERA against the Astros. His latest starts, his last 3 starts, they all came with an L. Excuse me. But he did allow not a lot of runs in those starts in the last 3. It was like 1-2, 1-2 kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see here. But a lot of negatives on StatCast for this guy. If you go look at his StatCast of the percentiles, very poor as they have called it on their little scale that they have there. Not a lot of good percentiles for him. But Chris Flexen does do good in the first part of the lineup. Going through, first time through the lineup, he has a 190 opponent batting average. The second time through, gets a little shaky. 340 opponent batting average. Third time through, gets to the 407 opponent batting average. So Astros look to take advantage to adjust in those situations against a guy that they're pretty, familiar with back in them times in the AOS.
Yeah, that's why I was looking through the outline, and I know you're going to talk about it. So I was like, I'll let you your preview. But the reason why they have to take advantage of that first one is because you named it right there. Crochet, All-Star, trade piece. Flexen has seen the Astros plenty of times, so kind of familiar with that. But
yeah, even though the numbers don't say that they're strong, you never know. It could pull a Houdini out of nowhere and just pitch a magnificent gem.
Yeah, for sure. Before we move on, we do have some comments coming in. Does Blanco make the All-Star game? Again, we just kind of talked about that. I think so. Might not start it, but I think he has a good chance to be in the All-Star game. Who came up with the Carne Asada idea? I think that's my man Zoe right there. It was his idea. He made it happen. Can Hunter Brown make the All-Star game after a poor start?
That's a good question, actually.
Mm, I don't see it.
I don't see it either. But I mean, the way he's been pitching, just give credit where to do. I mean, he's been pitching really well, but the way that these other starters like Ronel Blanco, Seth Lugo's been another one, Luis Gil, like Angel was talking about, the way they've been consistent through their starts since April, I think they have the better shot of getting into the All Star game than a Hunter Brown, especially with that 5 ERA.
Yeah, I don't see too many 5 ERA guys making a case for the All Stars. And then he has to say shout out to Hunter Brown and Gina Luna. But let's go ahead and move on with the injury updates. I think we have two important updates, and that's Kyle Tucker and Justin Verlander. Let's go ahead and start with Kyle Tucker. So Tucker, who was placed on 10-day IL June 7th, which is retroactive June 1st, after he fought a pitch off his shin, right? He was unavailable Saturday after previously pulled out Friday. And then he also, even though he's not on crutches anymore, which is a good thing, he still is limping around the clubhouse. Last time we were there, which was that Friday, he hadn't done baseball activities yet, which baseball activities can range from running on the field, like testing out the leg, throwing, taking batting practice, right? So he hasn't done any of that. So at this point, if they see that he's not back within the next maybe few days or so, a rehab assignment might be in the works for Kyle Tucker. You know, basically a talk from there. I don't have the exact quotes, but just I mean, that's basically what's going on. If he doesn't get better, the trend's not looking too good. Possible rehab assignment for Kyle Tucker, and then he'll make the major league roster.
Yeah, I think they said two. I want to say, which I think they should let him just go ahead and get a rehab. It's been since
Absolutely.
June 4th that he hasn't seen live pitching.
Yeah, get that timing right. Work on your mechanics. Because again, sometimes rust builds off. Like if you don't play for weeks, I know these are professional guys that have been doing it for a long time, but sometimes a little tweak can mess up your whole season, right? So
yeah,
it'd be good to look out there. Also, Justin Verlander, according to Brian Tiger, manager Joe Espada said on Sunday that Verlander could return as soon as this week's upcoming series against Chicago White Sox. I know Lorenzo kind of talked about that, so let me go ahead and give you some quotes. He's feeling better, manager Joe Espada said on Saturday. He's in the weight room. I feel like he's doing a little bit more work. The storm is kind of going away, but not totally, which is much better. I mean, yeah. And so, I mean, that's pretty much it for that. There's also some Astros moves there. Astros have selected right-handed pitcher Luis Contreras to replace Nick Hernandez, who's option AAA Sugarland. Astros transferred Christian Albert to the 60-day DL. I think it's just to get more fresh arms in the bullpen. I know Nick Hernandez did make his debut with the Astros there. And then lastly, three Astros starters lead the AL All-Star Game ballot. Going to Major League Baseball, who released their ballot today. Jose Abreu is the top second baseman right now with six.
Now Jose Abreu.
Jose Altuve, my bad. Second baseman Jose Altuve leads the All-Star Game votes for second base with 620,000
620,000.
I knew I was gonna butcher that. I saw it. I was like, man, I was overthinking on that one.
Oh man.
DH Jordan Alvarez also leads the DH voting with 475,000 plus votes, and outfield Kyle Tucker is the third outfielder. So give him that start with 593,000 plus votes, and they're all leading the American League division. The only people that Kyle Tucker is behind of is Aaron Judge and Juan Soto from the Yankees.
Yeah, I thought I had the thing here real quick on everybody. I do. So Yainer Diaz is 6 in catchers. Rutschman and Salvador Perez lead that. Yainer has 155,335 votes. First baseman John Singleton, 7th, 91,533. Guerrero Jr. and Mountcastle lead that. Jose Altuve, like I said, Marcus Semien is second behind Altuve. Third baseman Jose Ramirez and Jordan Westberg lead that category. Alex Bregman has 166,802 votes. This is shocking, honestly. Josh Smith Isaiah Kiner Falefa and Oswaldo Cabrera lead over him in votes.
Wow.
Yeah. Shortstops, real quick. Jeremy Pena is 6, 192,509, which former Astro Carlos Correa is 10th, which is last in the shortstop list with 60,311. He just had American Player of the Week.
So did JD Martinez, 2 former Astros there.
Yeah, 2 former Astros. And then, like Angel said, designated hitters. Jordan Alvarez leads that with John Carlos Stanton behind him. And Aaron Judge, Juan Soto, Kyle Tucker, Stephen Kwan, Anthony Santander, and Alex Verdugo lead 1 through 6 for the outfielders. If I can see the Astro next, Mauricio Dubon, 17th place with 148,909 votes. I am shocked that Jake Myers is not on here.
Oh, wow.
He
Right.
leads. I think he's second in defensive runs saved. I want to say, in either in American League or in Major League Baseball right now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's
That's
kind of a
crazy.
shocker that he's not on there.
And then the graphic by MLB had Jake Myers as the 3rd best center fielder in Major League Baseball too. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's baseball for y'all.
Yeah, crazy. Speaking of it's baseball, talking about the show happening this past week. I don't know if you saw Lane Thomas was ejected for staring at the umpire. He then like a call, looked at him, gave him the hook, and then I don't know if you saw the Phillies manager ejected over an overturned call. The home plate umpire thought the in a bunt attempt that it hit Garrett Stubbs, and after looking back, conversed with the umpire, say it did not hit him, brought him back, and just all hell broke loose after that. They were like literally barking at each other's face.
That was an old school type of ejection. And I love that. I honestly do. In my opinion, I love seeing them type of old school ejections.
Get your money's worth
that.
at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. You don't see that anymore in Major League Baseball that much. But did you see how like it transpired though? Like I want to say.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of saw it. Like it started off kind of calm again. He thought he got hit. Oh, go ahead, talk to me.
Yeah, but no, real quick though, like because the umpire gave Garrett Stubbs first base, and then all of a sudden he said, "Come back." After the umpires discussing, I'm like, okay, well, you're the home plate guy. You gave him first, and now you're saying, all right, come back. So I think that's why Rob Thompson was pretty pissed about that.
Yeah, but again, at that point, he fixed the mistake. Yes, it didn't go your way, right? But to keep the integrity of the game, I would say fix the mistake, right? But obviously, when you're on the other end of that, it doesn't even work. And I think was it Brendan Hyde or whoever was on the other side? Even came out to make sure it was a strike call or a ball call to like kind of adding a little fuel to the fire there. But it was crazy. And then Manny Machado was ejected for arguing balls and strikes too. I don't know if you saw that. It was a pretty heated argument from Manny Machado there. And then some injury news too. Mookie Betts and Yamamoto are out right now for the Dodgers.
That's big.
Yeah.
At least for Mookie Betts, I'd say. Yamamoto, they got pitching, but they don't have a lot of pitching, but they got pitching over a star like Mookie Betts.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then what the good thing for the Dodgers, I would say, is that Clayton Kershaw is doing some rehab assignments there. So, so maybe Yamamoto exits for a little bit. Clayton Kershaw fills in that position. And then speaking of Dodgers, they revealed the new City Connect jerseys there. Did you see them? I know we talked about kind of the leak. What you think?
I don't like them, honestly.
They dropped the ball twice, you think?
I think they dropped the ball twice, honestly. I see, like, if you go read the history of how they do their City Connects and all that stuff, I don't know. Like, I'll never forget now that you said they look like Pop-Tarts. That shit made me laugh. And I can't get that picture out of my head now. Like, honestly, I can't.
I mean...
Oh, well, what do you think? I mean, I already gave my opinion. I don't think they're really that
maybe
strong. Really that good.
Maybe top 20, lower end 15 to 20 around there.
I'm looking over 20.
Wait, there's more than there's more than 20. Then put them lower.
And I want to say this was the last City Connect reveal for this year.
Oh, really?
From all the teams.
Man, I would have let Minnesota last. Like, save the best for last, right? For this year, I would say.
But no, Tampa Bay was kind of the best one from this
Okay,
year.
well, save either Minnesota or Tampa Bay for last. One of those.
Yeah, but yeah, the show was on display. Oh, you forgot the biggest headline right now in baseball: the Grimace. After throwing that
Oh,
first pitch, the Mets are 5-0, dude. They are
hey,
5-0 when the
you know
Grimace
what?
pitched.
I wouldn't be surprised if more major league teams start calling the grimace to go throughout the first pitch.
They're gonna experiment with other characters from the McDonald's. They're gonna call Ronald McDonald. They're gonna call that, I don't
What's
know.
a jail
I think it's
guy?
a duck. The Hamburglar.
Oh, Hamburglar. There you go.
The Hamburglar. They're gonna call the duck looking chick. They're just gonna experiment with a bunch of, and if that doesn't work, then they're just gonna call the cows from Chick-fil-A. They're gonna call the Burger King, the King
King,
himself,
Jack in the Box.
Jack. Well, yeah.
What did you see that an umpire got sanctioned for, I think, betting? Uh,
Yes.
was that Pat? I forgot his name.
Holmberg.
There you go, Pat Homburg. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I was shocked
I
about
didn't
that.
really read into it, so I don't know if he was betting on baseball, but if they they suspended him, might have been something close to that. So that's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, that is very, very crazy. But that is the end of our show. We had a good crowd for today on 7 p.m. as we're finishing this on a Monday, June 17. Um, Tuesday, like I said, it'll be that series against the Chicago White Sox. Get these last comments before we head off. Tony said Carlos Correa is in a bad position. Correa third in batting average. What else? What else we got here? Oh, and then Tony even put his opinion saying Correa would be much higher in San Francisco or New York markets. Yeah, I think so. I
Yeah.
honestly think they would, at least in New York for sure. At least in New York. And then to keep on the Tony train, I guess at this point, Garrett Stubbs still in the big leagues. Yes, he is,
Yeah. Hmm.
and he's actually. I want to say he's actually starting at catcher because Ramuto got hurt.
Yeah.
So I want to say he's the starting
I always
catcher.
thought he was pretty good. I
Oh
always thought he
yeah,
was
I
pretty-
mean he had great discipline at the plate, switch hitter as well. Yeah, I think he was pretty good. Astros alum David Stearns gonna make Mets a contender. Yeah, especially after calling the Grimace for that first pitch because they look like a different team. They look like a different team. Which honestly, comparing from the National League, I would say the Astros from the American look like the Mets from the National League right now
Okay.
because both of them are
High
kind of
expectation.
high expectations and they're playing good baseball right now when everything was pretty low. And last but not least, Joshua giving us a little bit more. Well, yeah, we covered the Lane Thomas, the Mookie Betts, Blake Perkins bunt pop out to end Friday's game, the collision at home plate involving William Contreras. You should have added Snoop Dogg into that. Snoop Dogg
Oh, it's
commentating
broadcast.
in
Yeah.
Milwaukee,
Yeah. That's
talking
true.
about Ellie De La Cruz's arm at shortstop. Which Snoop, you gotta do your research, man. That guy got a cannon of an arm, not a
Yeah.
rocket. That dude is
A missile.
a missile, and the speed from second all the way to home. My gosh, what a generational player that guy's gonna be.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if you saw the broadcast with same Milwaukee Brewers saying that I forgot who it was. One of the players said that the Orioles messed up trading them Joey
Oh yeah,
Ortiz for Corbin Burns. Joey Ortiz gonna be a generational player. I was like, oh. I mean, so we'll check out the story on our Skinner for that one. But yeah, I mean, Joey Ortiz has looked pretty good so far too.
yep. Mr. Cantu on the other side wrote about that piece of Joey Ortiz, but Corbin Burns. When that trade happened, I thought it was a fair trade. I mean,
Yeah.
Orioles did need pitching, and then the Brewers, their farm system is pretty damn good, and it's still good now with Joey Ortiz.
Mm. Yeah.
But like I said, we had a good crowd today. Continue to follow us at our platforms below on social, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. We've been putting a lot of content up there as well as subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you're on Twitter, make sure you go to YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Then you don't miss out on these videos. Of course, we're on Spotify. We are on Apple for our podcast platforms. But Angel, you got anything else before we sign off?
No, just appreciate you listening. Subscribe, tell your friends about us. We've been getting some good crowds on these live podcasts, but I know we can do a lot better than that. So start telling your friends, spread the word about Full Steam Ahead.
Definitely. We could be doing some giveaways pretty soon too. I did say we'll probably do a giveaway before the All-Star break. We'll probably have one more live show at the White Rhino before the All-Star break as well. Then we can see our guys at the White Round because they're gracious hosts over there with some great drinks. Tony, last one, I promise. Mookie out for 8 weeks for the Los Angeles Dodgers.
Yeah, fractured hand or something.
Yeah, fractured. I want to say either the left or the right hand. But that's very significant for the Dodgers. We'll have to see who's going to play that shortstop role and who's going to step up. Freddie Freeman, Shohei Ohtani, because that was a three-headed monster over there in that organization. But till then, we'll catch y'all later. We'll give you that recap against the from the White Sox series and give you that preview with a tough opponent from the AL East coming to H-Town, which should be a great series to witness if you are in Houston or at Minute Maid Park. But till then, y'all stay safe. Have a safe week, and we'll talk to y'all for the weekend.
Peace.